Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It has been a while, but we are here. I think the last time I posted a long form video, this makes me look naked. I definitely have a shirt on. Y'all see how easily I get distracted. But we're here in April and we're just gonna do my March read and wrap up. I think I read 11 books in the month of March, had a good time. So I'll actually go through them in the order in which I read them. So the first book I read was Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I actually read most of this in February, but I finished it in March 1st to be exact. And so we're kind of towards March. I love that story. I think I gave it a 4.75 stars. So it follows Tova, who lost her son when he was 18. And it has been some years. I want to say like 20 something or 30 years. And she works at this aquarium where there is an octopus called Marcellus. And Marcellus kind of helps her find closure in what happened to her son. She was told that her son drowned or jumped off the boat trying to unalive himself and drowned. She didn't believe that to be true, but I thought it was such a heartwarming story. It was very sweet. There was another character in there. I can't remember his name. Oh my goodness. I forgot. But when his character was first introduced, I was like, why are we getting his POV? How is this going to connect? I don't know if I like his POV. But I actually ended up really liking him because he had the most character growth in the story. And if you know me, I love a character driven story, and I thought it was just beautiful. I really loved that Marcellus had his own POV as well. It was just really nice. I really enjoyed it. Definitely would recommend. Did recommend actually in my 32 books that I would recommend for my 32nd birthday. I did recommend that one. Really enjoy it. The next book I read is A Wolf in Chic Clothing by Jacquel J. This is the first book in a series. I forgot what the series is called. And I like that one as well. It's a workplace romance. So it features, I want to say her last name is Chic and his last name is Wolf. I believe that's how it was. I don't remember their first names, but she comes on as the assistant to an assistant editor. I believe it was an editor or fashion designer, sorry. And he is the CEO of the entire company. I mean, fall in love. Obviously, I enjoyed it. I did. I thought it was such a different take from Jacquel J's urban romances or her urban fiction, but still had fun, enjoyed it. Then the next book I finished was This Monster. Look, if you can see my tabs are really short. Let's see. I tabbed so much in this book. So this follows Edmond Dantes, who gets wrongly accused of doing a crime and he gets sent to prison. And when I tell you, I was shook by the amount of time he actually did end up spending in prison, but he ends up coming out and getting his revenge on all those who wronged him. And I had a whole video of this and I said that I thought he was just gonna come out and pew pew everybody, but instead he really just took his time. The revenge was thought out. It was so meticulous and it showed his intelligence and how much growth he had, because in the beginning he was a 19-year-old boy and he was very naive. Oh my God, so naive. But the revenge that he got on all of them showed the progress that he made in his learning. I believe in the beginning he didn't know how to read right, but then he learned all of that and he became such a smart man. But it was just, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the journey we took to get there. I did read it with a book club and we took 3 months to read it. It was about 3 months, yeah. It gave us an opportunity to really take our time, sit with it, enjoy it. I will say in the middle of it kind of dragged a little bit, but it was really getting to know characters that would appear later on. Would I recommend it? Maybe. But if you're gonna read it, I would definitely say read it in chunks. It's not a book I would just sit and devour. Would I read it again? Hell no. But if I had to read it all over again, I would read it the exact same way. but I ended up enjoying it and I'm so glad I read it. I also ended up watching the movie with my husband and I was so shocked by how different the book was from the movie. I don't think I've ever seen an adaptation that was so far from each other. Like in the movie, he found out who accused him of a crime immediately, but in the book it took a while for him to even get there to figure out why he was even in prison, and that to me was such a big difference. But there was other differences, but I ended up enjoying the movie for what it was as well. I know it was to keep the length down, so I enjoyed it. I also read Isaac's Song by Daniel Black, or Dr. Daniel Black. This one is the second book in a duology. The first one was Don't Cry For Me. I have that one, but I don't have Isaac's Song. So the first one was about the dad who was writing letters on his deathbed to his gay son. He was kind of hard on him. And when I say kind of, he was very hard on him. He was still a present dad. He showed up, he was there, but he was very hard on his son for not being as masculine as he should have been. And when his son did come out as gay, it made it very hard for their relationship. And the second book in Isaac's Song, it was Isaac discovering the letters that his dad wrote for him, but it was more than that. The majority of the book was Isaac really coming to terms with who he is as a person and realizing that his dad's perception of him does not have to be his reality. And I really love that Isaac was in therapy dealing with the trauma caused by his dad and the world as well, and his parents' relationship dynamic. It was just so well done. I really enjoyed it. I think I also gave that one 4.5 stars. I would recommend the duology to anyone and everyone. I would say that it also works for middle grade and like high schoolers, but I enjoyed that one as well. The next physical book I read was In Their Shadows by Brianna Cole. So we're following April, who is living a double life. She is a con artist. She is with two separate guys, living two separate lives. Neither one of them knows who she is as a real person. She has no intentions of being anyone other than who she is. This one, I actually really did enjoy. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it. I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling the con artist vibe. I don't know if that's something I want to read, but I enjoyed it. What I do wish is, I wish we got more of a dynamic with her and her mom. I also wish we got just a little bit of backstory as to why her mom was the way she was, because her mom was the one who got her into that lifestyle where she was conning people, mostly men. But I enjoyed this book. It's a quick, short read. I wish we did get more character development with April as well. I felt she was very surface level the entire time. But other than that, as a thriller aspect of it, I enjoyed it. The next one I read is The Hunger We Passed Down by Jen Sukfong Lee. This one is a literary horror. It's about generational trauma or generational curses. So we're following present day. I think it's like 2024, and we're following, I forgot her name. I want to say her name is April as well, honestly. Her name is Alice. We're following Alice, and she is a divorcee. She is previously divorced from her husband, so she's trying to get her life back on track while parenting two kids and learning how to make money for herself to take care of said kids. She meets a guy, blah, blah, blah. But then we're also toggling timelines between the past, where we're following one woman, and then there's another timeline where we're following another woman and whatnot. What I really liked about this book was that we tackled generational trauma, like I said, but generational trauma manifested itself into like real creature or monster. I did feel the book was very slow. It gave me historical fiction vibes, which I know move slower. And I know it's literary, but it just moved very slow for me, and I didn't enjoy that at all. I loved the premise, and so I kept reading, but I did want it to pick up. I wanted more, but I think I've told y'all, horror tend to feel that way for me. I feel like I'm never creeped out by anything, so it's just kind of there. Not a bad read, but would I recommend it? Maybe, maybe not. And I read The Lifeguards by Amanda Ear Ward. This one is a domestic thriller. It follows 4 kids 3 of them are boys, so they're really close. They lifeguard together. They came home one day. Their parents are all friends. They came home, told their parents that they found a dead body, and their parents were hoping that they were not involved in that girl's death. We're mostly following the parents. We don't really get too much of the kids' perspective, so it's mostly the parents' perspective, their dynamic with each other, their dynamic at home, what they think is true, what they think is not true. I was immediately intrigued with this book. I really got into it. I mean, it hooked me. I think it started with, we're friends, but I didn't know one of us would be dead. I think that's how it started. And I was like, okay. I say this was the biggest letdown of my life. I don't think I've read a book that ended where I was like, ugh. This book was going towards a 4.25, 4.5 for me the entire time until the ending, and I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. And that was me being generous because I was so pissed. I was like, I could give it 3 stars. But I was like, I was really enjoying it the whole way, and so to me that wouldn't be fair. But so many questions left unanswered. There were scenes where we were leading up and then there was no resolution. I was like, what? I don't like cliffhangers, but I can deal with it. But this was not a cliffhanger. It just felt unfinished. It felt like there was a word count or a page count. She got to it and then that was it. That sounds mean, but that's what it felt like. I was so disappointed. And then when I was reviewing it, I noticed that that was the consensus. I feel like everyone was feeling that way. And I was like, okay, so it's not just me. Such a big letdown. I really wish she would rewrite this with a different ending because I would read it. I would read the other ending and I think the rating would be higher. But then I read Moth to a Flame by Ashley Antoinette, and this is an urban fiction. I really enjoy this. I forgot the character's name, my God. But we're following a girl who is young. And in the beginning, it kind of reminded me of Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. So she's very young. She meets this guy. She's immediately head over heels with him. She's doing anything and everything for him, even betraying her parents. So she eventually moves out and goes to live with him, and her life just kind of gets hard from there. And we're just watching her try to survive and get out of a very domestic situation. And it was just heartbreaking. The ending was heartbreaking. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4.5. And yeah, I think I wanted to see more growth from the character as well. They told us she grew from one of the other characters' perspective. Like he said, I could really see the growth. And I'm like, I can't. I want to see it, but I'm just being told from your perspective that you see the growth. But that was my only qualm with it. I would recommend that one. I also read The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. This is the second book in the Green Sisters series. The first one is Neighbor Favor. I love that one as well. I enjoyed this one. We're following Violet. She is a fashion stylist, designer. I don't think she designs her own clothes. I think she's a stylist. She styles this famous artist and they go to Vegas for something. She runs into her ex, whom she dated through high school and through college. They're in the same space, so things start happening, but it actually is a fake dating situation because there was a picture of them that they took posing like they were married as a joke, but they don't remember doing that. So they decide to just pretend to be married. So kind of a marriage of convenience, not really. I would say it's more fake dating because they weren't married. But I enjoyed it, thought it was sweet. It is a second chance romance. I typically don't like those, but I can understand why they ended. And they did grow as people. I love their communication that they did in the book. I do wish we got to see more of them dating. I will say I love that we saw them dating while navigating their personal lives and work. Typically, I feel like we don't really see that. We just see them together. So it felt real. It felt like I was watching my friends date and fall in love. But I do wish we got just a little bit more of them dating. That was it. But I think I gave this a 4.5 stars. So I was doing good this month. I'm sorry, last month of March. And lastly, I read Unwind by Neil Shusterman. And that is a book. Boy, the concept is so different than anything I have ever read or even heard about. So we're following kids who are 15, 16, they're all teenagers. The premise of the book is that parents are allowed to unwind, essentially a late-term abortion. They're allowed to unwind their children if they feel their children are not excelling well, are a hazard to society, are in and out of trouble. If they just don't want their kids anymore, they sign them up to be unwound, which essentially they go to a harvest clinic or a harvest hospital where the surgeons and doctors will remove their organs, limbs, all of that sort, and donate it to people who require it. So organ donation, but the kids are alive. And they're not selling it to the kids like you're going to die. No, they're like, no, you're gonna live on in this other person. Now you can be productive to society because you're helping somebody else who is productive in society. Concept is hard, but it's a scene later on in the book that can be very hard to read, and it was kind of sad. I didn't even like the character, but it was kind of sad to read. But I thought the premise was I liked it. I liked that the kids were unlikable, and I like that we got the kids' perspective, and you get to see that really from the kids' perspective, they're doing nothing wrong, right? It's just their parents' perspective of what it was. There was another aspect of the unwound, in that in their society, you can stork your kids. So if you don't want your baby, you put it on somebody's doorstep, and it's called storking, and it becomes whoever the owner of that house is. It is now their baby and their responsibility. If they do anything with that baby, like bring it back, they are now legally responsible for that. So once the baby is given up via storking, it is whoever it belongs to. And there's also tithing as well. So you can decide to birth a baby for the sole purpose of unwinding them later in life, but it's called tithing. So again, the premise was great. I think I ended up giving the book 4.25. Some of the characters' chapters were kind of boring, but other than that, I thought, wow, really, really good. So I ended the month on a high note, I would actually say. I had fun reading in March. March was my birthday, March 12th. So I had a good birthday month as well. I got some new books. I did do a book haul. I think I posted to YouTube short, but great month. Glad we're here in April. I can't believe we're here in April. This year has been flying by so fast for no reason at all. My God. But that is all, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around. I love you guys. As always, happy reading. Bye.